Even though these characters are part of a patrol, working together for the common good of the territories, we still spotlight them as individuals to give the players a chance to really show off what these characters are fighting for. In this episode, there are two terrific spotlight moments. The first is Thistle standing up to his father, the Bark Lord of Elmos, and Bart playing cat and mouse with, well, I won't spoil that here. The back and forth cuts between these scenes, one action-packed and one a simmering conflict over a long dinner, has a nice cinematic feel too. I really love it. Enjoy.
In the darkness, right? They're catching the light, just watching this procession of mice going into Elmos.
Yellow eyes?
Yeah, yellowish, yeah. They're clearly of a much bigger creature. So.
Yeah, okay. I'll sigh a little bit and kind of start to jog up, where Thrawn and Bartholus are, and I'll say, this turtle didn't get here by accident. Thrawn, I saw something watching us out in the woods very closely. Something big. We've heard about this fox. We should keep an eye out for something that was trying to sabotage this town.
I think that it would be neat if maybe I could whip up some fox repellent and spray it around the border discreetly.
Yeah, well, the scent border is for really big animals, like mooses, and things that might be deterred by predator animals, right?
So, but maybe since I'm the explorer kind of thing, I can try to find some stuff that will allow me to whip up some fox repellent just for Elmos to deter the fox.
Well, if you're going to try and do that, Barth, definitely you should take Thistle, and Thistle knows a thing or two about mixing things up. Highly advise staying away from it, and keep this quiet.
Bartholus, I didn't see a fox. I just saw eyes. So you might have to make sure that that's what this was.
If I remember right, I've been freaked out about this fox for a while. So as soon as you talk about the eyes, that's just my direct connection for it. And I think that it would be unwise to hunt and look for the fox. But I think whipping up a repellent without it kind of me doing it so quickly that it doesn't realize what I'm doing until I've had it in place would be wise. Whereas hunting...
If it's a fox.
If it's a fox, yeah.
It's a fox.
And now, Thrawn, I think I'm going to go bed up because these old bones are just going to collapse under me if I don't.
Galen is expecting you all at his home for dinner, so any absences will be noted. Thistle, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think I might set off on my own to accomplish something.
Okay, well, so what are you setting off to do?
Make some repellent, and I don't want to get too brazen with it, but I want to have a little bit of a perimeter from the entrance of Elmos so that we're at least sure for a little while that this fox can't come near.
Okay, which move were you trying to trigger?
Well, if I need to get ingredients, I could probably do hunter grab through.
Right, yeah. Oh, you're trying to hit your directive of setting off on your own, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, hunter gatherer works great. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, and that is nature. 7 is 9.
Yeah, on a hit, you find enough food for a good meal or medicine for you and your patrol, your choice. We'll just take it as you find the ingredients that you were looking for. That's totally fine. That's on par with finding medicine, right? Even if it's not per se medicine you're finding. What do you find then? What are you looking for?
I think it's a combination of herbs and then maybe a larger animal. I use my nose to scent out where it's urinated, and then I grind that down into a paste and then make mix it with water, and then I spray that around.
Okay, nice. And that, I think, is going to require something dangerous.
6.
A 6. Do you want to spend? Well, you can't spend because you've purposely set out on your own. So
yeah, I can't get help unless someone sneaks out after me.
Yeah, I think everyone else is just partying out at.
But you like to sneak and see people do things. Your MO.
I'm debating with with Fergus that I'm like, there's no way it's a fox. Fox isn't big enough to move a turtle that big and wedge it. And I'm like, and like I think like as part of this discussion, we're like flipping through the logbook to see if there's mention of any bigger animal around here.
Indeed. It's dark, Barth. You've managed to find this stuff. You've ground it into a paste, and you are diligently smearing it in a perimeter around Elmos to get this creature, whatever it might be. And you have the benefit of darkness, which is good, right? Mice in the dark, not an easy thing. You don't have a bright white cloak, so you've got that going in your favor. And you're smearing it around, and then you hear a whisper from, it's coming from deeper into the woods, though you can't see precisely where it comes from. But it's a voice, and it says, "What an unusual sight. A mouse crawling about in the dark, all alone, all by himself."
Knows where I am and everything, or?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I'll say not so unusual. I have compatriots that you just can't see. Mice have become very sneaky over time, sir.
Are these compatriots magical? Do they have sorcerous power? Are they invisible? Is that why I can't see them?
Don't concern yourself with why, creature. Just know that they are about.
If they are not magical in nature, then I name you a liar, sir. You left the tree alone.
You wound me. I guess.
I won't be wounding you at all.
Well, that is welcome news. What are your plans then?
Perhaps I intend to swallow you whole.
Perhaps not.
Aren't you even the slightest bit curious what sort of creature might be whispering to you in the dark?
The only creature I know that lies in the darkness is fox.
And then, stepping out of the shadows, approaching you, it's a weasel.
Oh, that was anticlimactic. And I was wrong.
A weasel steps out of the darkness.
And did it have the same like glowing eyes in the darkness that Fergus would have seen?
It may have been what Fergus saw. It's a little unclear. Yeah,
Okay.
It could have been Fergus's mind playing tricks on him, because you guys have nothing but talk of trickster foxes in your brain, right?
Yep.
It's got like a little belt with like little doodads hanging off of it, and like a little head covering and a large curved blade. I haven't killed a member of the guard in a very, very long time, and he draws his blade. This is going to be fun.
Maybe even piss it off because I look like visibly relieved that it's not a fox,
it's
right?
not a fox. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's just a weasel.
Right, let's go back to the dinner. So Galen and his wife, Thistle's mom, we're gonna name her Marjorie and Galen. They have a beautiful home in Elmos. Like there's it's quite grand. Maybe one of the more grand homes you guys have ever been in. Thrawn, your family's home in Spruce Tech is pretty nice too, but it's always like cluttered with science bullshit. So, but this one is like really well kept. Like there's like a little fire. There's lots of like they have tapestries and all kinds of stuff like that, right? And a beautiful spread of food of acorn meat and grain, and everyone's there getting their fill and all that's going on. And Galen says, "Where's your friend?" Barth was his name, right? I thought there were 5 of you in your patrol. Do members of your patrol often just split off from the group, Thrawn?
He wanted to see to some additional protection for the village, and I agreed to
The city of Elmos.
The city.
And behind Galen's head, you see Thistle walk by, and he gives you a thumbs up. Good job.
Marjorie is she's very interested in like all sorts of things. Like she's, because you're a little older, Fergus, I think she tries to like engage you in conversation about like about the territories in the past, and she kind of goes on at some length about like where are you from and all that kind of stuff. And She's very, very amiable. They both are, and they're both fairly friendly. Galen's just a little judgmental. The night is wearing on. Bart has not returned. At the very least, he should have, like, I don't know, he should have been stopping at some point, like just to, give you guys a thumbs up that he's okay. Kelsey, what are you doing during all this?
I think I'm making polite conversation and trying to like learn as much as I can about this place because, I've never been here before. I think I'm trying to hide my nervousness. I'm trying to seem tough in front of Thran because, if he starts to worry, then I feel like it's okay for me to worry, but otherwise I have to just look like I trust him and like, this is all part of the plan, But if Fergus starts to worry too, then I guess say something to him.
Thistle, at a certain point, Galen pulls you aside, as after dinner's kind of done, and he says, Nigel, I'm glad you're here. I was going to send for you once the frost melted away, but you're here now, and so I may as well get off my chest what I've wanted to get off my chest. I would like to summon you back to Elmos to take up a position within Guild of Moss Gatherers in the position of a scientist. I know you have a certain skill with plants and other chemical, biological processes. And I think you'd be a great benefit, tremendous benefit. And I think you can do more for the territories as a member of Moss Guild than you can gathering and pounding out medical remedies for Ranger Mice and Lockhaven. Think bigger.
On the one hand, Thistle's going to be flattered that his father's recognizing his scientific ability, but this is, again, trying to get him back. He's obviously trying to get Thistle back, or Nigel.
And let's be perfectly honest, Nigel. You're going to just get yourself killed out there at some point. It's for your safety, too.
Father, I don't think you understand what I really do and how this is important. And you've never really, and this is finally, I guess Thistle finally stands up to his father, says, you've never really listened to what I've been trying to do and what I've been interested in. I am thinking bigger. I'm working on bigger things. I'm working on, can develop the fix for whatever fungus is eating the moss right now. That's not a difficult task. Anybody can do that. I'm a member of the Mouse Guard. I not only understand medicines, I understand poisons, I understand fighting tactics, I understand logistics. I can make a big impact. This is not, I understand what's happening in different areas, what's growing where. There's so many ingredients, so many compounds that can be made if you understand all of the items in the territory. And somebody needs to catalog and work with those. It's a much bigger picture. It's a long-term plan. What you're talking about is important, but it's important for you more than anything else. And this is what I want to do. I want to see the world. I want to make a difference in the world. And if you can't respect that, then I don't know. And regardless, I'm signed up for 4 years of service. If you want, we can return to this conversation when my service is done, but I will complete my service because I keep my word.
We'll convince them.
I think Fergus sits back and he's heard some of this. Probably woke up from nodding off during the night and kind of gives the clap.
Oh, boxcars. That's good. He listens to what you say, and he crosses his paws behind his back, and he puts his head down and paces back and forth while you're giving your speech. You're saying what you say. He turns and looks to you, and he says, very well. You will not have your mind changed. Just, your mother has knitted a lovely new blanket for you. When she presents it to you tomorrow on your way out, just make sure you look appropriately excited and grateful.
And Thistle says, oh, thank the stars it wasn't another sweater.
Good. Bart, this weasel, probably just a scout, honestly. It's a little unclear, but there's this one weasel, has a long curved blade, and he wants to stick it inside of you. So what do you do?
I have a daring plan.
Okay, what is your daring plan?
This scent stuff that I was laying out, right? And what I want to do is I still think that the fox is out there. My plan is to basically, if it is there watching us, probably wouldn't mind eating us. So I'm going to run away from this thing, but in such a way that I'm pouring the border. What I want to do is use my sniff them out to follow tracks in the wilderness to find the fox and drive that creature behind me into the fox so it eats him instead of me.
Indeed. Okay. All right. This is all premised on that there is a fox.
Exactly. Yeah. It is a little risky, I suppose.
It's a little risky, yes.
I can always stop and fight later, though. Right?
It's true. I'm gonna fast forward. I mean, you are you giving chase like kind of more toward Elmos or away from Elmos?
I'm doing it in such a way to complete the scent.
The circle, sure. Yeah, that's fine. You are not able to find any fox tracks. Like there just are no fox tracks. You don't see anything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the weasel is like, and you're getting tired. You've gotten a little flabby, maybe from like days of riding on skinks. And the weasel is clearly like on your tail. Like he's just like, we can keep going like this all night, mouse. I have incredible endurance. What about you?
If the scent border is complete or whatever, I want to run towards the skinks and jump off of one and then do the like a last look back with my bow and like shoot it.
Nice. Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. Let's call that strike at an enemy. Roll with focus.
Oh, that's a very bad fail. 4.
All right. Strike an enemy, roll focus. On a hit, you trade blows. On a 10 plus, choose 2, and 7, 9, choose 1. Okay. I think you're doing your thing. You get on the back of the skink and you're like shooting bows and arrows, and the skink is like running. The skink just stops. Like the skink just fucking stops. And the weasel kind of like bats away your arrows with a sword, and he says, My, it appears your mount is having something of a pensive moment. It's not good for you, my friend. Not good for you at all. That's when 2 other weasels, they like come out of the shadows and cordon you. One like holds like a long like stiletto to your throat and says, "Drop your weapon, please. You are caught." The night has gone on, Thrawn. Bart is not back. He clearly should have been back by now. What do you do?
Yeah, we're gonna go look for him. I think after the like heated moment between Thistle and Galen. Yeah, I think after that I'm just like, well, thank you for your hospitality, but really we should be, and we're going out the door.
Marjorie's like, oh, honey, before you go, and she's like, I've got something for you, and she has like a little bundle package for you. Thistle. She's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know you'd be bringing friends. I would have made something for everyone, but you'll share, right, Nigel?
Yes, definitely. And they hug.
Okay, let's just. Aren't you going to open it, Nigel?
Okay. And so Nigel tears into it and opens it, trying to think with his body to potentially shield it a little bit from the others, so there's a chance that he can hide it if it's something really horrid. But
yeah, it's not good. She's just taken up knitting. She's not very good at it. She gives you these various goods that are very misshapen and like not it's not very good.
And does it have Nige like stitched in?
What do you think, Nigel?
It's wonderful, Mother. It's wonderful. I'm sure it will keep me warm as we travel. Thank you very much.
She's like, you're very welcome, and and all that stuff. You exchange pleasantries, and they send you on your way. Also, Thrawn, Fergus, what's the plan?
Yeah, what's the plan?
If he was close enough to be near the skinks, then like.
Yeah, he can have gone far. I mean,
yeah.
Depending on where the weasels took him, right? But
yeah, so that's probably the first thing we'll check is like, where are the skinks? Are they all accounted for?
I think maybe there's one missing, and you might be able to sort of track where it went, right?
Yeah, so we'll follow that trail.
Who's kind of leading this? Because this might be a get your bearings roll.
I think I am.
Okay, go ahead and give me a get your bearings. That's with wisdom.
12.
You get to ask 2 questions.
What's the best way to find where they took him?
You'll definitely see the skink tracks that go off in a weird direction, frankly, kind of off behind Elmos. So
okay,
and you can track them easily.
Yeah, so I imagine we find the skink, and then the skink is on its own.
Sure. Yeah.
We can probably see weasel tracks because there are several of them.
Right. Yeah.
Fergus spits on the ground. Weasels.
What are weasels doing this far in to the territories, Fergus.
Never any good.
How can I best get my friends out of this situation?
Indeed. You don't see any signs of a struggle. There's no blood. There's no evidence that like these weasels like killed Bart like right there, right? So that's good. But that also means that they've taken him captive. And if they've taken him captive, that means they're moving a little slower than normal, okay? And it's fairly late at night, so they must have a camp somewhere.
And a group of 4 people, one of them probably unwillingly, is going to leave a decent trail.
Right, yeah.
Tenderpaw Kelsey, I need you to take this skink back.
Of course. So you're going for the you're going for the stealthy approach?
I need Thistle and Fergus with me. We've got some ground to cover. If we move swiftly, we can catch up to them before they get back to their camp, and we can free our friend. It doesn't look like they have executed him here. They must want to try and get some information from him.
How long should I wait if you don't come back?
If we don't come back, then you need to warn the town and start raising defenses.
All right. If it reaches midnight and you're not back, I'll rally the town.
Very good. So they know that you have my authority in this. Should it come to it, I unpin my white cloak.
I fold it up and thank you and get on the skink and back to town.
You're now more visible at night because you have that white cloak.
Yes, but I am not.
That's true. Thrawn is not. Watch my cloak and my skink.
I gotta keep the Tinderpaw out of trouble.
That's true.
That's true, because the person normally responsible for her is not around. So,
and if everything does go to shit, an entire army of mice.
So Barth, the weasels do make a camp. They have you tied up with ropes. They have you bound by your hands and your feet, and they just sling you down like you're all kind of nestled like near the roots of a tree, and they kind of just like chunk you off in the corner, and they begin like telling dumb weasel jokes about like mice, really like lame, obvious jokes about mice, right? That all things that have to do with like, you know, the size of mice and things like that, right? Super obvious, super not clever, drinking their weasel wine and just laughing and carrying on. What are you doing in the meantime?
I'm trying to convey as much information as I can with my tracks and stuff. Like maybe I keep leaving like I drag my foot three times in fits and starts, so hopefully they'll pick up that there's 3 of them and stuff like that.
That's good. Yeah. Do you want to? Is this maybe trust your instinct?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, that seems right. It seems like an appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but not this time. 5.
One of the weasels is really damn sadistic. He seems to have like a grudge against Lockhaven because I think like a lot of his family was killed during the Weasel War. So he's like a young weasel who's like filled with like, you know, vengeance and anger at the guard, right? And he just like, he's the one with the stiletto. He just like routinely sticks it in you, certain spots, just to hear you squeak, you know, in pain. The other ones like chastise him for it, you know, not because they give a shit about you, but because they just don't want, you know, to alert the rest of the patrol. But this one, he doesn't care. He just like takes every opportunity he can to like just to torment you. He takes a little chunk out of your ear and then threads it on a gold chain and ties it to his little bandolier. And so now you have like a little crescent-shaped carving out of your ear. Take injured.